Hi everyone. Today I want to tell you a story about an order. Sometimes an ordinary daily item can carry a very special story. The main character is Emily. She is sunny, cheerful, and loves life. On a morning in Washington State, USA, sunlight streamed through the blinds onto the wooden floor. Sunny, the golden retriever, was dozing in a kitchen corner, his tail occasionally sweeping the floor. Our heroine Emily was preparing breakfast. Looking at the photo of Sunny she had just taken on her phone. He was tilting his head, his ears half flopped, his eyes full of trust. She suddenly had an idea. What if there were a cup she used every day that showed Sunny's face, as if he were always by her side? She decided to do it at once. Emily found a Chinese Celadon studio on social media. She browsed the website and found that design consultations were free. Completely free, surprisingly. Emily tried leaving a message, attaching a photo of Sunny, and wrote, "He is my best companion. I want him to keep me company while I drink coffee." Across a 12-hour time difference, when the studio designer received the email, a light rain was falling outside. On the screen, the golden retriever's eyes were bright, like a beam of light piercing the clouds. For Emily, this had been just a small idea. But a few days later she received a reply. Now let's shift our view to the designer in China. The designer spent 3 days on the concept, creating 3 draft designs. The first draft was realistic, highlighting Sunny's facial expression and background with simple wave patterns. The second draft showed his full posture, sketching Sunny's tilted head profile. The ear lines were rounded, even the fuzz on his nose was finely carved. A small blank space of glaze was left in the eyes, as if hiding a smile. The third draft was more abstract, turning Sunny's fur into flowing curves, like an ink painting. After the drafts were sent to Emily, she stared at the screen for a long time. The first draft felt too deliberate, and lacked Sunny's carefree nature. The third draft felt too artistic, not like the goofy golden retriever in her memory. Until she saw the second draft, that lively profile, she suddenly teared up. That's him. Whenever I work, he likes to lie by my feet like this, tilting his head to look at me. After the design was confirmed, the system prompted the customer to pay half the order as a deposit. Once the deposit arrived, the studio could begin making the piece. First came hand throwing on the wheel. The Celadon clay had to be kneaded repeatedly so the cup walls would be evenly thick. As the wheel spun, the artisan's palms pressed the damp clay, slowly gathering it into a gentle, warm curve. This was the most comfortable shape to hold, and Emily's favorite, a warm, tactile feel. The carving stage tested patience the most. The artisan used a fine carving knife on the dried bisque body, gradually carving out Sunny's outline. The silhouette lines had to be smooth, without a single snag. Especially the ear edges, to carve a soft, fluffy texture. Sunlight came through the studio window and fell on the carving knife. Fine clay shavings drifted down, and Sunny's profile grew clearer, like a memory polished by time. After the carving was finished, the cup went into its first firing. The so-called bisque firing. After this step, the clay became a hard ceramic body, and the carved details became even clearer. Next came the most important step for Celadon, glazing. For glazing, the artisan chose the classic plum green glaze. This glaze is soft and jade-like, and after firing it takes on a faint blue-green hue, like the sky after a rain. The glaze had to be brushed evenly over the cup, covering even the recessed silhouette of Sunny, otherwise color differences could appear in firing. After glazing, the cup entered the kiln again for high-temperature firing. On the day it went into the kiln, the artisan carefully placed it into a sagger and covered it with a lid. A temperature of 1300 C was held for 12 hours. Flames licked the porcelain, the glaze slowly melted and fused with the body. When it emerged, the cup glowed softly, and Sunny's figure appeared faintly in the quiet glaze, like a silhouette veiled in mist, yet full of warm life. After Emily paid the remaining balance, the studio carefully packaged the piece and arranged air shipment. The parcel crossed the Pacific, and after more than half a month of travel, it finally arrived at Emily's doorstep. She unwrapped layer after layer of packaging, and when she saw the jade-like sheen of the cup, she couldn't help but laugh. She immediately took the cup to the kitchen, and Sunny curiously came over, his nose nuzzling the silhouette on the cup wall, as if confirming another version of himself. The next day, Emily brought the cup to the office. As soon as she sat down, her coworker Sarah came over with coffee, and when her eyes fell on the cup, she said, "Emily, your new cup, this dog silhouette is so special. It looks kind of familiar." Emily smiled and touched Sunny on the cup, saying, "That's Sunny. I had a Chinese artisan make this custom Celadon. Look, this is how he usually lies by my feet." Sarah leaned in to take a closer look, and said in surprise, "Wow, it really looks like him. The lines are simple, but so expressive. Especially the eyes, it feels like he's smiling at you." "Was this handmade?" "Yes. The designer drew 3 drafts from Sunny's photos. I chose the one that felt most like him." Emily lifted the cup. Sunlight streamed through the window onto the Celadon glaze. Sunny's silhouette shimmered softly. Every time she drank from it, she felt Sunny was right beside her. Mike leaned in from the side and said, "No wonder you've been saying you miss her. Turns out you brought her with you. This cup feels so comfortable in the hand. Warm and smooth." Emily smiled and took a sip of coffee. Steam rose gently from the cup, mingling with the sunlight outside the window. She looked at Sunny's silhouette on the mug and whispered, "He really is always here." Meanwhile, back in the studio in China, the designer received the office photos Emily sent. In the photos, Sunny's silhouette was surrounded by several people, everyone smiling. The designer smiled, and set a bisque blank back on the shelf, thinking, so the story of a golden retriever can truly cross mountains and seas, warming so many people.